Attachments. There are a lot of them in Rainbow Six Siege and you probably don't know what they all do. And you may even be using the wrong attachments on each weapon, which is why I'll be educating you on every single one in the ultimate guide for attachments. This will range from the different barrels to the different grips and as well the laser. And attachments aren't as complicated as you think. If you end up having any questions about specific operator attachments, a fantastic place to ask them is in the Discord. There will be a link down below or in the comment section. Let's dive into the attachments, starting off with the barrels. In Rainbow Six Siege, you have 5 different barrels you can put on your weapons. First of all, a very well known one is going to be the suppressor. Now the suppressor isn't too complicated at all. You don't want to be using this on a lot of your weapons. However, there are a few that you should definitely consider it on, and here's why. The main advantage of the suppressor is for the stealth purposes. It allows you to be quiet when shooting your weapon, however it will reduce the damage on the weapon. That is the main drawback of it. Certain weapons that it will be useful on is, for example, someone like Nock, her FMJ9. That could be a great use on because Nock is an operator required for stealth purposes. When playing an operator like Nock, you want to be sneaky, you want to be not heard, you want to come in unknown and catch them off guard. However, we don't stop there with Nock. There are other operators that might have this too, for example IQ's pistol. When you're taking out gadgets, you don't necessarily want to be heard. And the damage drop off for IQ's pistol isn't going to affect it because that's not your main purpose for it, it's to take out gadgets. Those are the main two. However, if you're going to be playing a more stealthy playstyle and you want that suppressor on for the stealth, then go for it. But just know it's not always an advantage as it will have a drawback of the damage. Next up is the Muzzle Break. Now your Muzzle Break is primarily the attachment that should go on your DMRs. The Muzzle Break is best for weapons that are slow firing weapons, and DMRs are exactly that type. They're not automatic, they're not a fully automatic assault rifle. What it will do to it is it will reduce the initial vertical kick. So it can only affect your vertical recoil and it will reduce the vertical initial kick. That means on an automatic rifle, it would only reduce the first bullet that you shoot out because it's automatic, which is why it's fantastic for DMRs because they shoot a lot of bullets one after the other. Another weapon that it will be useful is on the Deagle, for example. The reason being is because the Deagle isn't like an automatic pistol, it's not firing constantly. The Deagle has a lot of vertical kick to it, a lot of vertical recoil. And it is one of the more slow firing pistols because it has a higher rate of damage. Therefore, the Muzzle Break will be perfect for this. Next up is your extended barrel, which does not affect any recoil. The extended barrel is absolutely useless for controlling recoil, it won't help with that at all. Therefore, I would recommend you to use this on weapons that you feel comfortable with controlling the recoil already, because a big bonus of the extended barrel is that it will do extra damage at a longer range. So it'll give you that little bit extra damage when you are fighting your enemies at a considerable distance. However, that recoil won't get controlled at all. Now you could go ahead and use this on Jaeger's 416 carbine. However, if you can't control the recoil on it, you don't want to be doing that because again, it does not affect the recoil. It's an option you can do if you are a master with controlling recoil, however, even then, I wouldn't recommend it on that weapon. An operator that it is fantastic for is Frost when using her submachine gun. Her primary weapon practically has no recoil on it anyway. It is almost like a laser, therefore you're not going to be having any recoil and it's very easy to control, which is why I'd recommend putting that extended barrel on for the extra damage, and the recoil doesn't even matter. Then we have the Flash Hider. The Flash Hider is a very popular attachment. It is essentially kind of a perfect balance between horizontal and vertical recoil. The Flash Hider will reduce small burst recoil, which means it's going to reduce those burst firing weapons, and there are quite a lot of them in Siege. I would recommend this attachment on quite a lot of operators in my opinion, and a great example of a weapon is the SMG-11. The Flash Hider on the SMG-11 will reduce that small burst recoil, which was what the SMG-11 does have, especially when you are more of a tap firer playstyle with that weapon. Now by no means do you have to restrict yourselves to that SMG-11 only. For example, the Vigil K18 is a fantastic submachine gun and it is great with the Flash Hider. A good way to decide what fits you best is if all the other attachments don't actually apply to it, stick the one that is the odd one out, and often it will be that Flash Hider, because otherwise you are going to be targeting horizontal recoil, and that is where the compensator comes into play. Now the compensator only affects horizontal recoil, so it's not going to affect any vertical recoil, it targets the horizontal. It is perfect for rapid firing weapons such as an assault rifle, and especially if that assault rifle does in fact have horizontal recoil to it. A good way to test is simply if the weapon kicks to the side, any side, left or right, when you hold it all the way down. You can do this in a custom game if you'd like to try it for yourself. An example of a weapon that would need this is Buck's AR. Buck's AR has a lot of horizontal kick to it, which is why I'd recommend applying the compensator onto that weapon. If you don't want to go into a custom game and find out, you can just go onto the little recoil pattern. If you see it reduces it to the side on the horizontal one, that is what you've got to go for. Now those are the barrel attachments covered. It's time to move on to the vertical grips and the angle grip. Now the angle grip pretty much changes absolutely zero recoil. It doesn't help with recoil control at all essentially, but what will happen to it is it will increase the ADS time when aiming down your weapon. It won't help with 99% of the recoil, however it does make your ADS time that little bit quicker. On the other hand, the vertical grip does make your recoil fantastic. What it will do is dramatically decrease the amount of recoil you are having when using that vertical grip. If you do struggle with recoil on a weapon, I'd recommend putting that on. But then again, the angle grip can be fantastic for weapons you can control already, and you can also use it for that extra ADS time on weapons that don't actually have much recoil in the first place. The final attachment is going to be the laser. The laser that you can attach onto your weapon is often confused by a lot of Siege players. It is an underbarrel and it will increase your hipfire accuracy, that's the benefit of it. The main drawback is that you have a laser on there, so it kind of reveals your general. Many people do seem to think though that having this on is simply going to reveal your exact position, however it only reveals your general area and location, it doesn't pinpoint it. There will be times where it will lead to your general area being found out, however apart from that it can be useful for that extra hipfire accuracy on certain weapons that need it. That right there was your only guide you'll ever need for all of the attachments in Rainbow Six Siege. If this did help you out with finding what attachment to put on what operator, be sure to drop a like on the video and subscribe for more tips and tricks videos very similar to this one. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.